It's going to be my quick video about my experience getting a hair transplant done at Feller Bloxham in New York City. I did a lot of research over, honestly, like the last 10 years when I first noticed I was starting to have a receding hairline. And, a lot of the photos can be easily photoshopped. I mean, I could whip up a photo in under a minute. Videos can sometimes be deceiving too. And a lot of those guys that I was seeing in the past, they got the transplant done and then they just looked like they were thinning or losing their hair, and that's not really a win. That's not what I wanted. And then I came across the Feller Bloxham videos, and the first thing I immediately noticed was the attention to detail and the way they explained everything. And I just really liked the whole way that they approached the whole situation. Building that hairline that doesn't look ridiculous, dense packing, and then obviously the results videos. I mean, they come through when it's wet and it still looks great. So I decided, I was like, I'm gonna pull the trigger. It's one of those things where if it works, it'll change my life, and if it doesn't work, I guess that's a risk I'm willing to take, I guess. I made it a trip. I flew in with a friend of mine, so I wasn't alone, because I wasn't sure what the process was going to be like. I met with Dr. Bloxham, and he was super cool, super nice. The way he explained everything was highly detailed, and as a detail-oriented person myself, I was really impressed. We did the hairline. I went in and looked at it, and I'm like, that's pretty cool. The next step after that is they shave you bald, which is quite an experience. You look ridiculous, but they give you a break and you go in and they prep the area. And then what happens after that is, they give you the shots and stuff and in your head, and that, quite frankly, was the most painful part. The first few pricks, they sting. They don't feel great, but after a couple, your head immediately starts to numb, and he tells you when he's doing it. He's like, I'm gonna, poke, and then that way you're aware it's coming. So he did a fantastic job, to be honest. And they wait for that to kick in so you don't feel it, because obviously you don't want to feel this. And I'm sitting in the chair thinking, holy crap. I watched the video, so I know they're cutting a strip out of the back of my head. But when you're sitting in the chair, you're just like, what have I got myself into? But once they get you all numbed, it is the most surreal experience. He goes through with the scalpel and he cuts out the strip, and all you can hear is the odd little crunch, to be honest, of your skin getting cut. And he goes through, and you can't see any of it, but you can hear it. It's a weird experience. He stapled me up, and I didn't feel a thing. It felt tight because it pulls the skin from the bottom and a little bit from the top. The doctor will come back, and he stabs your head, and he does it depending on how many grafts you want to get. I mean, I can't imagine how bored you get to doing this, but in my case, it was 2,100 grafts. Can you imagine, like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? I don't know, but you get a little break. You check yourself out in the mirror, and you've got like this bloody head. It's not like gushing blood. It's just like little pokes, so there's just little bit of blood. But they come back and they start transplanting in the holes that the doctor made. They just go on this, meticulously working. Just to give you like a frame of reference, I don't know the literal hours, but it took probably 5 to 6 hours total. The first night, you're supposed to sleep elevated. I practiced sleeping on the couch a little propped up beforehand so that I would get used to it. So that first night, I'm just paranoid because I'm clumsy. I'm going to hit my head on something and knock out, these grafts. So what I ended up doing was I slept on the couch, a couple pillows behind me, and then I took a towel and I wrapped it up and I put it around here so that when I leaned, kind of like those pillows you get when you're on the airplane that are terrible on the airplane. But in this situation, I would sit here and my head wouldn't touch the couch. And I woke up the next day and no pain, just a little weird. I will say, though, it was a weird experience because you start swelling, and I guess that's from all the shots they give you. The liquid just sits up here and probably just swelling from, you being hurt. And I looked ridiculous. Like, I have a 5 or 15 forehead anyway. but it just made it look bigger, so I just looked cartoonish. And the doctor said that I could wear. He gave me a hat to wear, which is much like this one, with the bigger front end. But I was not going to take any risks because I wanted to make sure nothing was getting bumped or damaged. And I rinsed water over my head, like in the sink. I just had a cup, rinsed it, and I used shampoo, but I didn't, scrub, obviously, because you don't want it to fall out. And he basically said that I could fly, that following day if I wanted to. And so I just parted my hair in the middle, and I had this scabbed up purple head because my skin just turns red and purple when I get injured for quite a while. I quit taking the pain pills after one day because you hear all those horror stories, people getting addicted, and honestly, it didn't hurt anymore. It was just uncomfortable. The hardest part for me, honestly, was the staples in the back, because you're trying to lay on the back of your head, and you can feel the staples pushing against your head all the way around, because they go from here all the way back, but you have to lay this way because you don't want to mess up your grafts. And the staples feel like they're the same size as your head, and pretty funny actually. They turn out to be like ridiculously small. And I decided not to shave my head. I watched a couple videos of guys who didn't shave their head, and I was already doing the Justin Bieber, Zac Efron swoop from like 2010, 8, I don't even know. And honestly, that cover up, since I was already practiced at it, like it worked perfect. Like you couldn't even tell. I swooped my hair over the section that was transplanted, and then after 10 days, they gave me the option to take the staples out myself. It's just this little package here. They'll send it to you if you want it, but I ordered this one on Amazon just in case. But you can see this. Look how damn little that is. Chop, 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 chop. This actually kind of sucked, guys. What it does is it actually bends the staple this way and pulls it out. The fun part is you have scabs back there because you're bleeding, or there's hair. So those first few days are the most frightening, and then after that you actually get to what they call the ugly duckling stage, and that's not a fun stage. They all your hair transplants, not all of them. Like, it was crazy. This side, almost nothing fell out. This side, when the scabs came out, the hairs fell out. And I was like, oh, shoot. But right now I'm in month 4. And it's, for me, I'm really glad I didn't shave my head, because I would look like I was sick or something, like, because my skin, you can see, like, I burned my arm like a few weeks ago. There's still like a burn mark from it from my air fryer. Now that we're in month 4, it's starting to look a lot better. You can see where they really dense packed the front, and I'll just go ahead and guess I'll just show you now. So I cut my hair real short because I wanted to test it out. But so you can see this side's a little lagging, but these are starting to come in. This side's, I had hair here, but this is like real thick coming in. And then over here, it's just crazy how thick this patch is. And I'm hoping, obviously this stuff will kind of grow in. But you can see just how great of a hairline he actually gave me. And we're only in month 4. I do have really thick hair, which is nice. Because I noticed when I was losing it, you just needed a few hairs to make it look good. And I'm already parting my hair kind of on the side, and these little pieces here, they look fine. So overall, I would say my experience with Dr. Bloxham was great. Honestly, if you're looking for a doctor that's just incredibly detailed and just really knows what he's talking about and is super great to just communicate with, he's your guy. And the way he did my hairline, and the way that they did all the holes, and the way that the staff put the transplants in was just fantastic. Here on out, I obviously know that they did their jobs correctly. It's just up to chance and how my body's going to react to it. It already looks way better, and I'm already, extremely happy, because before I couldn't have my hair this short, because you would see like this literally had no hair, and the light probably gets rid of it now, but like, if I have my hair like this, you can't tell. And it's only month 4, so hopefully, I can see like little tiny hairs coming in, and some of those I guess will thicken up, and it's just gonna look better. So if you're thinking about getting a hair transplant, it's really damn expensive. I saw a lot of videos of the doctor who was going to work on my hair, and that was important to me. And I just, like I said, I really liked the way he approached it in a systematic a way, and he had an artistic brain about how he was doing the design of your hairline or the placement of each hair. And that's, to me, that was more important than saving $5,000. And honestly, like, I think any one of us, if you were like, okay, you can spend $4,000 and you'll get an okay result and an okay doctor, or you could spend double that and get the hair you wanted, I think we'd all spend double. And granted, you can't guarantee I'm going to get the hair I wanted, but clearly he did the best he could and the best that they can, just to make it even more possible. So I'm extremely happy with how it's going and the communication, and I don't regret it for a second. If you have any questions, comment down below. I can try my best to answer them. Obviously I'm not a doctor. I can only tell you from my experience and what I went through.